activism ends when you press send on the keyboard and you've sent some kind of email petition. Because that's part of activism, but that's a little part of activism. So, who has been out on the street in some kind of protest over 10 times? Past 5 days!
Past 5 days!
Yeah, 10 days in the past 5 days!
All right. Well, then who has put on a Condi hat or a George Bush hat and gone out the
I bet that one.
I put on a wolf head.
I'm afraid it would be like over the shoulder.
You all done.
Can.
Who's can?
Yes, that was really
Very
fun.
important.
It'd be
Singing?
Singing.
Simon's a
Well, you know what? Like I was just saying, I
Do
can't
it.
do my anti-Bush song anymore because it's called Bush Has Gotta Go and Bush is gone.
Keep singing.
Sing
All right, I'll do
but
it.
only a portion of it.
All right, I'll do a portion of it. A nice portion.
Yeah.
Bush has gotta go, we gotta get him out, and that is just the way it's got to be. If we know that it is a fact, but I have no doubt you'll do the as long as the World War III. Because Bush is a rotten liar, and that's what I want the world to see. And Bush has set the world on fire, and he's a fascist, so you won't be free. But why? Bush has gotta go, he's gotta go now, and that is just the way it's got to be. If we know that it's a fact, but I have no doubt he'll do the as long as the World War III. Well, in the words of MLK, you know what I got to say? Free at last! Free at
Okay, so for some of us that have this very righteous anger that's been bubbling and pent up and in here for a long time, it's going to be hard for us to move into the positive mode, but this is the time to find that positive sense within us.
Aye,
Good feeling of glass is half full, and keep that cynical voice way in the back there,
Aye.
So maybe we should do one round of our nice song of We Are Ready for a Peaceful World.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like the blunt.
Okay, so let's get on tune.
That is happy.
And there's just one struggle of many that occurred to me right now seeing David Barrows because we're singing. And that is the struggle for voting rights in Washington, D.C. Because for those of you who are out of town and for some of us who just moved here, we have to know that this is an important issue.
New issue.
Taxation without representation. So, we want a partial rendition of a very original song, music and words by our own Dave Barrows.
You're all welcome to join me.
Okay. You can do the motions. Indentured servants on the DC plantation, slaving away for misrepresentation. It's time for our party to give back the tea. It's time to say free DC. Indentured servants on the DC plantation, slaving away for misrepresentation. We pay for our taxes, we fight in our wars. She closes our hospitals and changes our laws. Indentured servants on the DC plantation, slaving away for misrepresentation. It's time for a party to give back the tea. It's time to say Okay, so there's one person we have to thank for this entire incredible DC house.
And let's raise our hands up like this.
Yeah,
Okay,
So
you know what that reference is.
do.
We have that picture on our.
When I was here 2 months, 2 complete months, all by myself. Well, Congress was in recess. I'm exaggerating, it wasn't quite.
We all came now.
Yeah, so I'm so glad that you're back, and we need you more now than ever, because now we have access, as Jim says,
Yeah.
to the halls of Congress. They will be welcoming us with open arms, and we need you to be here so that we can get them to the change that we want. Now we can, affect our government. So please, we need you here.
So, last night we were at the Peace Ball, which was wonderful. And there were these 2 young women, and one of them worked for 60 Minutes, and the other one worked for
USA Today?
like Good Morning America, very
Oh, yeah,
mainstream
Katie Couric.
Katie Couric show.
Katie Couric's assistant.
And they came up to Des and they say, "Oh my God!"
You're the Congolese attacker!
But you know what they said?
Yeah.
First of all, they were bowing down. They said, "We work in mainstream TV because we think this is a way to reach millions of people, and it's a good job, and let's be honest, it's good pay and everything."
Oh, yeah.
And they said, "But when we get really depressed," this one woman said, "when I get depressed about what's going on and the kind of things we cover and the way they cover it, I open my desk drawer, and there I have the picture."
I have
So you've reached a lot of people, and we've all reached
Their
a lot of
bloodstained
people.
hands.
And I don't know if anybody missed it, but the Nation every year, John Nichols picks organizations that have been the most effective in that year. And every year he picks fabulous groups that have really done a wonderful job to move us forward. He decided that with the end of an era of 8 years of George Bush, he was going to pick the one group that was the most effective group during 8 years of George Bush's reign. And that group is... So there's a magazine to Code Pink, so please get it. And we must say that we have incredible allies within the movement, and I see some of them here, Veterans for Peace. Not sure the younger generation of Iraq Veterans Against the War is here tonight, but they usually are here. And who else here represents other organizations?
Military families.
The
FBI.
And who else?
Jose Rodriguez, freelance activist.
Sacramento area for peace action. Sacramento.
We have big supporters here of Democracy Now! So there are many people here who wear lots of different hats, which is a good thing. But the most important thing is that we work together, we work in coalitions, we give each other support, and we got to do more of that in the coming years as we expand our movement, as we work more with the groups working on domestic, economic issues. And it's so important that we just, grow and strengthen our coalitions and our movements. And I see somebody poking her head out the stairway there.
I know,
That
right?
represents one of the most amazing activists. So there was a time about 2 months ago that we thought finances are tight, we're not getting the same kind of end of the year money because people are hurting, and that was affecting us at Code Pink, and we were starting to think that we couldn't keep this house open. And then Ann Wright came and stayed here and she said, "You're not going to keep the Code Pink house open. That can't happen." What did you say, Ann?
Hell no, we're keeping this house.
Yeah.
We won't go. No, because this is the place. You're here, and every week, when the Congress is in session, you all are here.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have this, what the hell would we do? Just what we did before when we weren't quite so effective. So it was so important. And as we were talking, if this is here, people will come. If it's not here, it's so much more difficult. So, what's the story, Medea? What's going on?
The story is we're going to appeal to our friends and the larger community and say, do you think the Code Pink House ought to continue under the Obama administration?
Yes!
Do you think there's still a need for this kind of, what do we call ourselves? Extreme lobbyists? Yes!
Congressional education.
Oh, extreme congressional education. Yes. And do you think that you or people you know would be willing to keep the Code Pink House open?
Yay!
So this is going to have to be a community effort because our funds for the Code Pink House run out at the end of February, which is when our lease is up. So we have to decide, can we afford to keep the place open? So we are putting out an appeal, and we kind of waited for after the election and all of this to call on our community to help us in any way you can. And you should know that there is tremendous demand already for the house. Groups that are doing the sit-in around the coal power plant that's happening on March 2nd have already said, we need the whole house to bring people in who are coming from the outside. There's a conference on getting rid of foreign military bases, and we have friends that are coming from Ecuador and from Italy and from Japan and all over, and they say, can we please stay at the Code Pink House? We'd love to stay here. So there is a tremendous need for this house, but we have expenses of $3,500 a month. And some of you, when you come, are able to contribute, and a lot of people who come, like our friends coming from the Global South, are not able to contribute. So think of this as a collective place that needs to continue, and that if whatever you can do financially and spreading the word to help us keep the place open would be really awesome. And I think it would be an important statement that we will make, in a new administration to say, we understand our work is not over. We understand we have to keep the pressure on. And a house like this, as small as it is, that puts up like 22 people at a time, sharing 2 bathrooms.
We make it work.
We make it work with a wonderful collective spirit here. And Washington really needs the Code Pink House. So my plea is help us, talk to any of us if you've got funds that you can contribute or other ideas about how we can make sure this continues.
And my back pockets are built for your checks. There's room there, and
There's room.
You got
I think you better get some more pants to make a little more room.
Yeah, really. That's a long time.
Get enough in this one.
Okay, thank you everybody,
Junk
and
in
we
the trunk,
really
I think they
look
call
forward
it.
to singing,
lots of room.
dancing,
Don't be
playing.
Where's the
Maybe
DJ?
we're gonna have to go to jail,
Big
but we
checks
don't
for the
really
same
want to,
small
but it might have to in the years ahead. But most of all, we look forward to continuing the work with you to build the kind of government that when we go out in our communities or when we have the opportunity to go overseas, that we hold our heads up high and we say, we are from the United States. So let's feel good about our country and how it treats people around the world. And that depends on us continuing to do this work. So thank you all.
Back national anthem.
Want to do it? Sure.
You know it?
I think I do. Once you get up and we'll try.
All right. Well, since we got a first black president, we got to do a black national anthem. I know this. Lift every voice and sing till the great heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Singing a song full of the faith that the darkness has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Let's do one final We Defend the Constitution.
Yes.
Or we won't do the whole thing.
You can also do it at time like the word, time to create peace.
Time to create peace. And then we'll end at the end of time to create peace, okay? One, two, three. We defend the Constitution where the people live. We defend the Constitution and we defend free speech. Can't you hear the people shouting? It's become a roar. Can't you hear the people shouting? Time to end this war. Time to create peace. Time to create peace. Time to create peace right now. Time to create peace. Time to create peace. Time to create peace right now.
I just wanted to say one thing. As you may know, Medea has recently moved to DC, and I just want to acknowledge her amazing, tireless effort here in the house. And we know the world speaking out for peace. So thank you very much. We miss you already, Medea. We miss you.
voting rights in Congress.
All right.
She's the best thing to happen to the DC statehood movement.
That's sure it's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Get right.
That's right. No one's here. Thank you.
Where are the
You're the star of the show. He's reading it.
Yeah,
You know how to read.